Imagine creating a superhero franchise that becomes one of the most successful animated properties in television history, generating over $6 billion in retail sales, only to abandon it completely. That's exactly what happened with Ben 10. And it's a story that reveals everything wrong with how major networks treat their most valuable IPs. The scene is 2002. Cartoon Network executives are desperately hunting for their next big action cartoon. They are looking at declining ratings, increased competition from Nickelodeon, and the pressure to create something that could compete with the likes of Pokemon, Beyblade, and Dragon Ball Z. So they bring in the heavy hitters, Man of Action. Man of Action isn't just any creative team. We are talking about Joe Casey, Joe Kelly, Duncan Relu, Steven Seagal, comic book legends who had worked on massive titles like X-Men, Superman, and The Incredible Hulk. When Cartoon Network executives told them they wanted Fantastic Four for young boys, these guys didn't pitch just one idea. They pitched 20 different concepts in 20 minutes, telling the executives, "You'll know what you're looking for when you hear it." And boy, did they know it when they heard it. But here's what's fascinating. What we know as Ben 10 today looked nothing like the original concept. The show was initially called Force 10, and it wasn't even about aliens. Ben Tennyson was there, yes, but he looked completely different, and the Omnitrix watch resembled just an ordinary earthly watch. The transformations weren't aliens at all. They were superheroes and mutants. Digger became Wild Mutt. Dragonfly evolved into Stinkfly. Ghost Freak was still Ghost Freak but looked far more terrifying. Grey Matter existed but looked more demonic. Inferno transformed into Heat Blast, which hilariously looked like a mix of the Thing and the Human Torch. Remember, they wanted Fantastic Four for kids. Plant Guy became Wild Wine. Razor Jaws turned into Rip Jaws. Strong Guy became Forearms. Upgrade was still Upgrade, just completely different looking. And Accelerate eventually became XLR8. The problem: DC Comics lawyers. The concept was too similar to the existing property Dial H for Hero, where a protagonist used a device to transform into different superheroes. Rather than face a legal battle, Man of Action made a genius pivot. Why not make them aliens instead of superheroes? This single decision transformed what could have been a generic superhero show into something completely unique. After 2-3 years of development, the pilot episode, and then they were 10, premiered on December 27, 2005, and it hit the airwaves like a meteor. The concept was brilliantly simple yet endlessly expandable. A 10-year-old boy finds a mysterious watch from outer space that can transform him into 10 different alien species. Each alien had distinct powers, personalities, and limitations, creating natural storytelling opportunities and built-in merchandising potential. The original Ben 10 series was more than just successful. It was a cultural phenomenon. Within its first year, the franchise had grossed over $6 billion in retail sales, making it Cartoon Network's longest running franchise to date. Toy stores couldn't keep track of Omnitrix watches and the alien action figures on the shelves. The show had found lightning in a bottle. Relatable protagonist. Ben was cocky, imperfect, and made mistakes kids could actually relate to. Incredible world building. Each alien species had detailed backstories and home planet. Merchandising goldmine. 10 different alien forms meant 10 different alien action figures. Plus the iconic Omnitrix watch. Expandable universe. The alien concept allowed for infinite new characters and storyline. The original series ran for 4 seasons with 52 episodes, each building on complex mythology involving the Omnitrix creators, galactic politics, and Ben's growth as both a hero and a person. By 2008, it was clear that a sequel was demanded by millions and millions of fans worldwide. Ben 10 Alien Force premiered in 2008 with a bold concept: age up the protagonist and the audience. Now 15 years old Ben had matured alongside his fans, and the show tackled more sophisticated themes. The Omnitrix had been recalibrated, giving Ben 10 completely new alien forms that reflected the show's more serious tone. This wasn't just a cosmetic change. With Man of Action stepping back to work on Generator Rex, the show was helmed by Glam Murakami and the late Dwayne McDuffie, legendary for his work on Justice League. The result was a more serialized, character-driven narrative that dealt with identity and responsibility, complex moral choices, intergalactic politics and war, growing up, and relationships. The first 2 seasons of Alien Force are often considered the creative peak of the franchise. The show had clear character arcs, overarching storylines, and a tone that respected both its younger audience and the original fans who had grown up. But here's where the corporate machinery began to grind against creative vision. With merchandise sales alone surpassing $500 million, Ben 10 had become too valuable for Cartoon Network to treat as just another cartoon. The problem was that Alien Force, despite its critical acclaim, wasn't selling enough toys. The more mature storytelling and character development that fans loved didn't translate to the toy aisle. You see, the primary demographic for toy purchases isn't teenagers. It's kids aged 6 to 11. And these kids weren't connected with the serious older Ben the way they had with the original series. Cartoon Network executives made a decision that would define the franchise future. They put their foot down and demanded changes to increase toy sales. The shift was immediately noticeable in season 3 of Alien Force. Compare these two clips. Season 2 Ben.
Listen guys, I'm sorry I took Morningstar's side over yours. And more important, that I wasn't watching your back.
It wasn't your fault. I guess Morningstar had some kind of control over me.
It was my fault. I was in such a hurry to build our team, I ignored the danger. If I'm going to be a good leader, I'm going to need to show better judgment.
Now let's listen to season 3 Ben.
I'm not kidding, Ben. I'm really mad at you.
But you won't stay mad at me. I'm adorable.
You're completely full of yourself.
Which is forgivable because I'm so adorable.
The character regression was jarring. Ben was made more immature and cocky. New aliens were rapidly introduced to create more toyetic opportunities, and the carefully built storylines were abandoned for more episodic adventures. It worked. Toy sales increased, but it also marked the beginning of the end for Ben 10 as a creative force. In April 2010, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien premiered with Ben looking exactly the same as in Alien Force, using basically the same aliens but with one crucial difference: the Ultimatrix. This knockoff Omnitrix could evolve Ben's alien transformations into their ultimate forms. It was actually a brilliant concept that could have explored themes of war, evolution, and the cost of power. Instead, it became another merchandising opportunity. Despite Ben having unlocked 46 different alien transformations by this point, only 8 ever received their ultimate forms. For a show whose primary goal was supposedly toy sales, this seems like a massive missed opportunity. More ultimate forms should have meant more toys to sell. Ultimate Alien lasted for 52 episodes across 3 seasons, culminating in a massive battle where Ben finally gets a new, perfected Omnitrix. The show had moments of brilliance, particularly in its exploration of Ben's identity being revealed to the world. But it was clear that corporate mandates were increasingly driving creative decisions. Ben 10 Omniverse premiered on August 1, 2012, with yet another art style overhaul and a unique storytelling approach. The show would sometimes follow 16-year-old Ben continuing from Ultimate Alien, but also featured episodes with 11-year-old Ben set after the original series, creating a complex timeline that often contradicted established continuity. Despite the continuity issue, Omniverse had ambition. It lasted 8 seasons with 80 episodes, making it the longest running Ben 10 series in terms of episode count. The show introduced fan favorite characters like Rook Blanco and explored deeper mythology about the Omnitrix creators, the Galvans. But ratings were declining. There is significant speculation about why Omniverse was ultimately cancelled, with several theories emerging from the fan community. The Christina Miller effect. Many fans believe that Christina Miller, who became Cartoon Network's head of content, wanted to move away from action cartoons entirely, favoring comedy shows like Teen Titans Go, scheduling sabotage. Some fans suggest that Cartoon Network desperately aired episodes at awkward times and in random order to depress ratings, making the show easier to cancel as a tax write-off. Franchise fatigue. After 7 consecutive years of Ben 10 content, audiences may have simply been exhausted. The series ended on a cliffhanger that teased a space road trip adventure that would never materialize, and plans for the return of the negative 10 villain group were scrapped. After 4 years of silence, Cartoon Network resurrected their cash cow in 2016 with a complete reboot. This wasn't a continuation or a sequel. It was a full reset aimed squarely at a new generation of kids who had never experienced the original series. The 2016 reboot was everything the original series critics had feared. Simplified art style, dumbed down storytelling, and obvious toy selling mandates. Yet it succeeded in its primary goal. The series ran for 4 seasons with over 160 episodes, making it the longest running Ben 10 series by episode count. Despite receiving generally negative reviews from critics, the series was viewed by millions and millions of viewers across multiple platforms. The reboot concluded its run in April 2021, and since then, complete radio silence. Let's put the Ben 10 franchise's success into perspective. Total episodes. As of 2025, there are a total of 393 episodes across all series. Global revenue. The franchise has grossed over $6 billion in retail sales worldwide. Merchandise sales. Merchandise sales alone have surpassed $500 million. Brand valuation. Recent evaluation suggests the brand is valued at approximately $1 billion. Franchise duration. Spanning over 15 years, it remains Cartoon Network's longest running franchise to date. To put this in context, Ben 10 has generated more revenue than many major Hollywood film franchises. It's a billion-dollar property that at its peak was competing with Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z in terms of global recognition and merchandise sales. As of July 2025, it has been over 4 years since any new Ben 10 content has been released. For a franchise that has captured the hearts of millions worldwide and generated billions in revenue, this abandonment is not just surprising, it's business malpractice. The current state of Cartoon Network makes this even more baffling. The channel has become a wasteland of constant reruns. Teen Titans Go, The Amazing World of Gumball, We Bear Bears, and the other shows that are now over a decade old. Cartoon Network has become a shell of its former shelf, seemingly afraid to invest in new action properties or revive proven successes. This isn't just unique to Cartoon Network. The entire entertainment industry has become risk-averse, preferring to bank on established properties rather than create new ones. But Ben 10 is an established property, one with a built-in fan base and proven merchandising potential and unlimited creative possibilities. On July 26, 2024, Comic Book Club reported that Dynamite Entertainment had expanded its license with Warner Bros., signing up Ben 10 for a brand new comic book series. This is potentially huge news for several reasons. Mature storytelling. Dynamite Entertainment is responsible for series like The Boys and Vampirella, opening doors for more sophisticated Ben 10 stories. Creative freedom. As one fan put it, a Ben 10 story free from the shackles of broadcasting standards can push these stories further and give us stories we may not be able to see on Cartoon Network. Market testing. If the comics succeed, it could pave the way for a new animated series. However, almost a year later, we still have no concrete information about this comic series. We don't know if it's a retelling, a continuation, or something entirely new. The silence is deafening. Ben 10 represents something that's increasingly rare in modern entertainment, a genuinely original concept that became a global phenomenon. It wasn't based on any existing property, toy line, or comic book. It was pure creative vision that connected with audiences worldwide. The franchise's success also demonstrated the power of evolving with your audience. The transition from the original series to Alien Force showed that children's entertainment could mature and tackle more complex themes without losing its core appeal. Unfortunately, corporate interference prevented this evolution from continuing naturally. More importantly, Ben 10 proved that action cartoons could be both creatively ambitious and commercially successful. A proper Ben 10 revival could tap into several current trends. Nostalgia market. The original fans, now adults with disposable income and children of their own. Streaming opportunities. Platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max have shown appetite for both nostalgic reboots and original animated content. Merchandising potential. The success of Pokemon, Funko Pops, and other collectibles show there is still a massive market for toy tie-ins. Instead of cheap reboots aimed at selling toys to 6-year-olds, imagine a Ben 10 series that continues the original continuity with adult Ben, explores the cosmic implications of the Omnitrix watch, features high-quality animation and storytelling, builds towards a larger connected universe, respects both new and long-time fans. Ben 10's abandonment is a part of larger pattern in corporate entertainment. Major media companies have become so focused on quarterly earnings and immediate returns that they have forgotten how to nurture long-term franchises. They create billion-dollar properties and then abandon them the moment they require actual investment or creative risk. Look at what's happened to other major animated franchises. Teen Titans, replaced with Teen Titans Go, a pale shadow of the original. Thundercats, multiple failed reboots attempts. Samurai Jack took over a decade to get a proper conclusion. Adventure Time ended despite massive popularity. The pattern is clear. Create something brilliant, milk it for immediate profits, then abandon it when it requires the actual creative investment. When Cartoon Network abandoned Ben 10, they didn't just lose a profitable franchise, they lost a pipeline for creating new action animation. The original series was training ground for animators, writers, and directors who went on to work on other major projects. By abandoning action cartoons entirely, Cartoon Network lost institutional knowledge about how to create a compelling action storytelling. The ripple effects are visible today. Current Cartoon Network shows are predominantly comedy focused, often relying on random humor and meme culture rather than character development and world building. There's nothing inherently wrong with comedy cartoons, but the complete abandonment of action storytelling has left a massive gap in the market. Ben 10 should be mentioned in the same breath as Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and other legendary animated franchises. It created an entire generation of fans, generated billions in revenue, and proved that original concepts could compete with established properties in the global marketplace. Instead, it's been left to rot in corporate archives, while Cartoon Networks air the same reruns for the millionth time. It's a perfect example of how short-term thinking and corporate interference can destroy even the most successful creative properties. The saddest part, Ben 10's story isn't over. The mythology is rich enough to support dozens of new series, films, and expanded universe content. The fanbase is still there waiting. The potential for new merchandising and licensing opportunities is enormous. All it would take is one executive with vision and courage to bring Ben 10 back properly. The watch is still there, someone just needs to be brave enough to put it on. Guys, if you like this video, please like the video and also remember to subscribe the channel. Thanks, until next time.